I was attacked.
I think some designers are better off listening to their stakeholders.
Majority of designers must be generalists to survive in the industry.
Congratulations to us for making it to our 5th episode on the Edge Cases podcast.
Yay!
This was the first milestone that we're looking at to get to episode or case 5. Then we'll look at case 10 and then we'll start taking over the world, right?
Yeah.
Do you have something nice to say?
Yeah, coming or recording 5 episodes back to back, no break, hasn't been easy. Like you posted on X the last time. Aside everything that's going on in our lives, 9 to 5, we still have the time to be recording these things and put it out there. No break, no excuses. We've done great. It's not easy. Trust me.
Okay.
Like
We don't even
we
eat.
have. Hey, don't exaggerate. I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who keeps listening, because it's one of the reasons why we keep going, because we know there are people looking forward to listen to what we have every week. So yeah, thank you very much, all of you, for listening. It's one of the reasons why we keep showing up to record every single week.
Yeah, we'll be arranging another cake for our 5th episode. Yeah, I'm really happy we've gotten to episode number 5. We've done I've learned new things from all the research we've done, trying to come up with things to talk about, from user research to
Testing,
to toasts,
meetings, to like a lot.
meetings. Yeah, and yeah, thank you everyone for listening. Yeah, so just drop a comment, leave a review where we are listening, so that you are enjoying the podcast and how you are telling us to continue doing this, right? Guys, what are we working on this week? How is Cleeve doing?
Cleave
Your
is
firstborn.
my firstborn, yes. So Cleave is good now. Today I was recording a walkthrough video and I took like 10 takes.
For walkthrough.
Yes, just walking, because we don't have a website, right? And then I don't want that to be the reason why we are not putting it out there for whoever wants to try it to try. Because it's easy to say, okay, because we don't have a website, let's wait till we get a website. That's an excuse.
Yeah.
So I put together a very simple Notion with every information I think would be good to get anyone started. And I just wanted to do a simple walkthrough so that whoever looks at the Notion or looks at or watches the video gets a very good idea of how to go about it, so that you're not lost. So yeah, it's been good. I've cold DM'd a couple of people. Some have used, some no response, which is expected. And then there's one person who mentioned she's using something else, and she's not ready to put. And I totally understand that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting more of those responses. Yeah, and then
You
a
didn't
couple of
DM
other
me.
comments. No, you don't have an option. Like if I tell you, you don't have an option to. I don't have to DM you. I'm shoving it down your throat, whether you like it or not. You use it. Yeah. So another thing we learned, or one discovery we made, is currently to get into the app we use only Google. Like you have to sign in with Google, and then I reached out to people, and then some people want email and passwords. Here is us thinking social auth is like the easiest way to get into product, and people are telling us that they want email and password, that the Google is not working for them, or they don't want to use Google. So that has made us rethink, or we've rethought that process, and then we are currently working on providing that capability. Like we found out on Tuesday, today is Thursday, work has started. We should push by end of the week or within the weekend. So Cleave has been going great, and yeah, expect a walk to maybe dropping tomorrow or Saturday, and then everybody can get to use it. That's how my week has been. How's yours been?
Well, this week was research focused for my
At
entire
work.
team.
Okay.
Yeah. Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll end it tomorrow, Friday. We've been doing user testing for 2 products, one for
Okay.
our widgets, the next one for our internal admin dashboard.
Okay.
So for the internal admin dashboard, we'll be shadowing one customer support person for maybe about an hour. And then it's an open-ended type of system. So we ask them open-ended questions, we make conversation with them, and then we take notes, whatever they say, that's maybe it's a highlight, and then we
Let
record a
me
call to,
interrupt you here.
yeah.
The shadowing, for those of us who don't know what shadowing is, what is it?
So you just observe them work. Yeah.
Okay. That is,
So
you are observing your customer. They are
yeah,
the people you are doing the interview with. So it's sort
yes,
of an internal testing
yes,
thing. Okay.
yeah. So it's called dog fooding. We use our own products. So we get on a call with them, we observe them, use them,
Mm.
we ask them like, oh, how are you adjusting to the new dashboard, stuff like, or what are the stuff that you normally do on the dashboard, right? Yeah, just to see how people are adjusting to new life with the dashboard. We recently moved to a new dashboard, so we are trying to see how they are faring and to see what improvements we'll be making. Yeah,
I like how you guys set a whole week for that. Like it's a major thing to have had a dedicated time, especially
and
for an
every
internal tool. Yeah.
and every member
Yeah.
of the design team is doing it. So I think,
They're working on.
yeah, for that particular product, even if
Oh,
you are not working on it, yeah.
interesting. Okay. Why?
So
Why is it like that? Why is it?
so
Why
everybody has context. So everybody has context, so that if Franklina goes on leave, Derek has some context to work on something from that side,
You're right.
right? Because we want to avoid key man dependency,
Yeah.
so that not just one person has all the knowledge on that product.
Mm, that makes sense.
It's been very tiring because you talk a lot,
Mm.
right? Yeah, some of the sessions go over an hour, some around 1 hour, some 40 minutes. My shortest has been like 30, 35 or 36 minutes.
So just observing people, clarifying stuff, jotting notes.
Yeah.
So
And
after
for
this week,
the
what next?
so we did 2 products, the widgets and then dashboard. So the widgets was more of a guided, structured interview. We made them go through a Figma prototype. So what
So
next?
those ones are external users, actual
No, no, no,
customers,
no. Internal.
still internal. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
internal.
cool.
Yeah, yeah,
Again,
it's still internal. So after this, we would rewatch all the videos. So Ryan and I owned this research stint. So we would go back, rewatch all the video recordings. That's going to be a lot of work, to be honest.
yeah,
Then
boring
we'll
work.
analyze. Yeah, very boring. Then we'll analyze all the notes, and then yeah, we do a report and then draw some inferences and make some recommendations.
Okay. Keep us posted on that. I would like to know how that ends.
Cool, 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 cool. Cool. So for on social, I asked the question on the timeline, what is your design hot take? And we had some juicy responses. Some
Juicy.
people, some people were dropping in gems. So
People are
Franklin, what's your
attacking me.
people attacking you? Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, people are attacking me.
What's your design hot take? Mention their
Well,
name so that
no,
we
please,
know
I don't want
them.
any trouble. No,
Me, I'll
I
mention.
like my peace of mind. Okay, so my design hot take, it's pretty simple. So it goes like this. So if you spend time to scroll through most of the designs people post anywhere, Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn, wherever anyone can share their works, even on Dribble and Behance, if they're designing for a mobile app, it's pretty simple. You see the interface in the mobile mockup. That is fine because it's a mobile app. If it's a web app, usually, personally, I've observed that about 90% of those web app designs come in desktop screens. And my hot take is, where is the mobile screens? Where are the mobile screens? Right? I feel people forget that half the time or more. half the time, people access web apps via mobile devices. So why are we fixated on designing for desktop screens when we have this as a fact? It's only outliers, product outliers that have their designs solely for desktop, as in priority is given to desktop designs and no mobile. So for something like what web app can I even use? Internal tools. Internal, if you are in a
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
company,
yeah.
its internal tools are usually going to be desktop design. So the dashboards, the settings, the profile, all of those things will be in desktop mockups. But when you come to something like Twitter, Twitter's okay, everybody uses Twitter's mobile app. I want to say a web app where the web app you use it primarily on mobile screens. Nothing is coming to the top of my mind right now, but I'm sure everybody gets what I mean. When you scroll through Twitter, Behance, Dribble, all web apps come in desktop mockups. My hot take is people forget that these products have mobile designs, and mobile should even be prioritized because that is how people are going to use your products, mostly on mobile devices. So if you are designing and putting your work out there, please try and do the mobile of it, because then I think it shows you are versatile. Like you can design even the complex of pages on mobile, because on desktop, right, you have so much space, so you have that liberty to explore, to do your skirmishes, to do your skills, showcase your talent. You can do other because there's a huge artboard, right? But when
Yeah.
it comes to mobile, where you are limited in space, you now have to really think through the experience. Okay, on mobile, I mean on desktop, the button was at the far right and the text was at the far left. But now on mobile, the screen is small, the real estate is small. You have to show important information and bring up um useful experiences. Now your question is, with this small space, how do I achieve what I want to achieve? Because the space is small, right? So I think if you are able to show both desktop and mobile, you are able to tell whoever is looking at it that I know my thing, like I have skills and it's not limited to desktop. I can do it in mobile. I can produce good UX even on mobile. So yeah, that is my hot take. What do you think of my hot take?
Do you think it is simpler to or it's easier to design for desktop than for mobile web?
Yes, I think it's very easy to design for desktop because of the space. Like
Mm,
you have so much space to do anything, put anything anywhere, not like that, but you have that
yeah.
creative space to explore. Right? But for mobile, the space is really small. Even for mobile, you have to be very critical as to what you want to show above the fold, right?
Yeah.
For desktop, you have so much space. You can divide the screen into three if you want, but on mobile, it's just one screen. So you have to be very careful what you forgo, the trade-offs you make, the decisions you make to make sure the thing you are even deciding on stays above or below the fold. Right. So I think it's very easy. Yeah, it's easy. Some people, well, usually when I'm designing, I design for desktop first because it's easy, right? It's super easy. And then the mistake I end up doing is the thing I've done on mobile, on desktop, when I bring it to mobile, I just change the direction of it. Like on desktop, if it was
Ah.
vertical, when I bring it to mobile, I just make it horizontal. But that you can easily get lost in that and produce shitty experience
Yeah, true, true, true.
because I just brought it to it. You have to design for mobile. If it's a web app, you have to design the experience for mobile. If on desktop you were able to show everything without hiding it in a drop down or scrolling, on mobile you have to be very careful. Do you want to use an expandable card? Do you want to hide it in the modal? Do you want to paste it there? Do you want to show some of the information and truncate it? Like it has to be very careful decisions, well thought through. So yes, it's easy to design on desktop than on mobile. That's why people ran. That's why I ran to it first. Talking for
Yeah.
myself here.
So your other hot take from this hot take would be mobile shouldn't just be an adjustment of the desktop.
Yeah, it shouldn't. It shouldn't. It
Okay.
shouldn't. It shouldn't. As
I
in,
agree with
you
that.
should you should design for mobile. I don't know how else to say it, but you should design for mobile. Not because it was on desktop and you're just bringing it to mobile, so you just change the direction and that's it. designed for mobile.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense of that. Yeah. In my hot take, well, I think
Why?
some designers are better off listening to their stakeholders
That's a very hot take.
because
Explain.
I believe that we left design to some designers alone, the companies will never ship anything.
What do you mean? Give more, give more. You are
So
releasing it small, small. Why are you doing that?
so I believe there's a place and time for like design work that takes time, right? And there's a
Oh,
place for and time for design work that helps you learn more about your users.
okay.
For instance, in a startup environment, we don't have that much luxury to wait 6 months to complete a project before we go live.
Hmm.
We don't have that luxury because you are competing with other startups. Giant
Yeah.
companies like Google, Amazon, all of them, they can
Facebook.
afford they can afford to work on a project for 6 months, 1 year before shipping.
Yeah.
But then if you join a company that is small, that's a startup, you don't have that same luxury. Right. That's why some stakeholders do not like working with some designers because they feel that I've heard this feedback before that the
From a
designers
stakeholder.
yes, that the designers waste time
Okay, I think I've
because
heard it
yeah,
before too.
that the designers waste time. And I'm not saying do shabby work and then submit, right? But then work in a way that you take into consideration the other people on the team, take into consideration the type of company you are joining, so that you don't waste 3 weeks coming up with wireframe and then you do 6 months of user research just
Hmm.
to come up with a screen that might not even solve the problem. Yeah, that's my
How did
if
you come across this? Like, were you doing some self-reflection? Did you speak to people for it to dawn on you or
yeah, I spoke
observation?
I, I spoke with a couple of design managers, right, from ADP list. I spoke with a lot of design managers looking at how they started their career, what they learned in their career and all that, like from the beginning. Spoke to some founders also, founders of different startups. And it dawned on me that a lot of the time we don't help that vision of quick iteration, right? We worship design thinking a lot, but we forget that prototyping part because the prototype is not a perfect product. A prototype is not a product, it's not the product that has all the features. A prototype is a version of the product that does like at least some of the high level things
Yeah,
of what we expect the product to do in its finished state.
yeah, yeah,
But if you want to spend 6 months, 3 months on a prototype,
yeah.
what time will we use to spend on what time?
We use 1 year to build one small feature.
Yeah, that's what I think about that. Right. There's a place and time
Let me
for yeah.
throw more light on the parts you mentioned about prototypes being or depicting what the product could be with Cleave.
Mhm.
So you remember I mentioned earlier that we were introducing email and password. So I had to do the design for that. And what I did in the design and what has been developed is totally different. Like
Wow. Are you
extremely
throwing
different.
shade at somebody?
No, not because
Are you shading
then
somebody?
no, I'm
Wow.
not shading anyone. Not because it was
Wow.
poorly developed, but because they I'm trying to concentrate on the or try to throw more light on the fact that the prototype was just a prototype. Like it was just to help us understand what we want to achieve. That okay, they should be able to enter their email, password, verify, and then give more information. That's what the prototype was supposed to depict. But then we iterated in the actual product. We didn't have to come back to design, to come and design what is currently live, to agree before it went into production. So that is how a typical startup works, right? You should be able to change on the fly. You don't exactly this. You don't Please take my words my words here. You don't exactly have to design everything pixel perfect, so perfect That if you
For
need
the
to make a
prototype.
change, yeah, before you like, no, no, no. So I'm just trying to say that the prototype should just give a very high level understanding of how it should work, and it should be ready to iterate even in code, right? Maybe you have to if you have to tell the developer to do the iteration in code, why not? So yeah, that was just by the way. So yes, let's go over to the timeline and see what people said. What was their hot take? So the one where I was attacked, the person knows himself. So Benjamin said, this is his hot take. Most people with the designer in quotes title are not really designers. They are people who know how to use Figma well. Exclamation mark.
I agree. I agree.
Oh, what makes you agree?
Design is much more than just Figma. Design is the solving of problems or the innovating to solve problems, right? Creating something to solve a problem. The user wants to create an account. You create a
Mhm.
flow to help them solve the problem. You can do this outside of Figma. You can do this or you can do this on pen and paper, and the engineer will
Mm,
build it.
mm, mhm.
You can do this on a slate with chalk, and the engineer can still build it. Now, the skill that goes into drawing up that flow, the skill that goes into that journey from landing page to sign up, that's where the skill of a designer comes. The Figma is just you pouring out what you've thought about.
Feelings.
Yeah. Yeah, so I agree on this one.
I don't think I have any thoughts on this. I've not really thought about it but thinking about it now, could be true. Could be true because I don't know the processes people take or go through
Mm,
to come up with their own designs. For all you know, even though it might look very flashy and all out there, maybe some serious work went into it outside of Figma.
yeah.
We never know. So I'm on the fence on this one.
Mm.
Okay, take the next one.
This from Kojo. In a 40-hour work week, your most impactful design work will most likely not exceed 4 hours.
This is true. This one is very true.
Why
This
is it
one,
true?
I'm using my chest to say it's true. It's true because it takes us back to the conversation we had about meetings. For
Hmm,
those
hmm,
of
hmm.
us who do 9 to 5, if we decide one day to calculate how many hours we spent in meetings, we see that it will be more. It will be more than the 40 hours if we are not careful. And then the work that you were supposed to use to do actual work will be less than 10%. And this doesn't only it's not only related to this 40-hour work week thing. Take
Yeah,
everything into consideration, like any single activity you engage yourself in. You can go like, oh, today you're so busy, or this week you've been super busy. But if you go and look inside, you've really not done anything. Like, as in, when you are looking for the productive output, the results of that busyness, you see that it's less than one. So I actually agree that we spend a very little amount of time doing very productive work. Somebody has to do a study on this so that we can
yeah.
verify this. But I agree with this. I agree. What do you think?
Well, I agree with the most impactful would be like hours not being a lot. But as to whether I agree with the 4 hours, I'm not so sure. Yeah. But I agree that your most impactful hours will be very little as compared to the 40 hours. Yeah.
So don't beat yourself up if you think this week there you've not been so productive. Or you used Monday 2 to 4 to do the most productive work, and that should be fine. That should be fine. So the next one from Fifi, he's saying learn the elements and principles of design first. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
This is
I agree
why
with that.
this is why brand designers who transition to product design do so well and they produce very beautiful work
Yeah, because
because
they have
they
good understanding of
exactly
these things. Yeah,
exactly.
it's true.
Um
So
Aaron from Haptel says designing without following the fundamentals is a recipe for disaster. Yeah, this ties into the element bit. Yeah, this is very
yeah.
true. This is very true. You can do whatever you want if you
Can
don't
do all
have
the
the
stepping stones you
basics.
want.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you follow Twitter designers, you will forever underrate your work. This from Aaron too.
Yeah, it's true because then you are comparing yourself with people you think are there, but if you go and look inside again, they are not there. I will not
I have
name
an,
names, but
I have,
it's okay. We finish your take. Don't do that.
I have another hot take.
Go on, share.
I think we should reduce the amount of pressure we put on ourselves to post work online. The reason being that some of the people that post work a lot are freelancers. They don't do 9 to 5.
Uh-huh.
That they would have a lot of things on their plates that would hinder them from designing new things every day. For 9 to 5s, by the time it's 3 p.m. or even 2 p.m., you are tired.
Huh. Oh my
By
God,
the time it's
pre.
by the time it's 2 p.m., you are tired and you won't have that same zeal or that same mental strength to start a new design and then post. Reduce the amount of pressure you put on yourself to do 100 days of UI. You can do 200 days of UI and then post once every 2 days. At the end of the day, it's still 100. Yes, that's my
Preach.
small hot take.
Yes, please, if you want to attack Derek, his DMs are open. If you
Mommy, I'm
think,
there. Mention
if
me
you
anywhere.
disagree, do it with your chest. Okay, I like this one. Find your way to design. This is by Odin. Find your way to design. The tutorial is just an eye opener to the possibilities of the tool. I agree.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
totally agree. But in as much as tutorials help, because in this age where information is everywhere, it's at our beck and call. Like you blink twice, now there's content on how to do this in Figma. Yeah, yeah. I
New
feel it
content
helps
every
you.
time.
Yeah, 2 minutes beyond content. So yeah, the tutorials are there. You don't have they shouldn't be your only source of truth. You should, like you said, find your way to design, explore, read, do, iterate, design. Like it's not only doing what the person in the tutorial is doing, it goes way beyond that. And a lot of it falls on the drive you have to learn design. So just do what you have to do to be the best. If you have to design more, design. If you have to read more, read. If you have to speak to people or reach out to people for help, do that. Right? So, yeah, that's mine. What's yours? Like, what do you think?
True, I agree with it. There also don't be stuck in tutorial hell.
Why? Someone would
Explore.
argue that, mm, okay, I think they should learn
Tutorial
to do it
hell
their own.
tutorial hell is the bribe they pay you to not learn the career.
Hey, this is another hot
No,
take.
no, 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 no. I'm sorry. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. But yeah, try not to be stuck in tutorial hell. Try to, whatever you learn within the tutorial, try to build it on your own or try to replicate it on
Yeah,
by yourself. Otherwise, if you get used to watching step by step processes, you struggle to do things on your own.
yeah.
Right, yeah. So that's my hot take. That's an advice.
Okay, Marlon's own is very simple. I trade a lot.
But yeah,
Very
definitely.
simple, very straight to the point, very
Is this even
self-explanatory.
a hot take?
Maybe some people don't iterate a lot. Maybe he's come
So it's
across
a warning.
people. No, I think it's a hot take. Maybe in as much as we think, so we are assuming here people iterate a lot. Maybe he's come across a number of designers and their first design is supposed to be it. It's supposed to be the winning one,
Mm,
right? So if you've forgotten, please iterate a lot. The first one is usually not it. Trust me. I've
yeah,
designed
we are
12
sorry.
iterations and the 12th one was the selected one. Hmm.
We are sorry. We are sorry.
But
We are sorry.
okay. So another hot take from Mr. Hero is majority of designers must be generalists to survive in the industry. Question mark, question mark, question mark. I don't entirely agree because take me for instance, I'm not a generalist. I'm specifically UI UX design. I don't do icon design. I don't do animation. I don't do Figma. I don't do Webflow. I don't do any of those things. But I'm equally pushing out good design, as in
Mm,
good user experiences where I'm working or wherever I do. So you
yeah,
don't need to be a generalist to survive. Somebody is thriving, making impacts with that one skill that they have. So yeah, this one, I don't agree. What do you
yeah.
think?
When you say survive, I assume it's talking about making good money, and there are people making money like from just one skill that I would say they are surviving or they are even thriving. So
Yeah,
this might be a tricky one that I don't fully agree with, right? Because there are, for instance, there are some devs that design, but then they only make money from the engineering. They design
yeah,
for maybe their own hobby and stuff, right? There are
right.
graphic designers that do other things as a hobby, but then they survive on the graphic design skills. So this might be a shaky one. I don't think everybody needs to be a journalist to survive.
Eric, have you used a product where, for instance, as soon as you open the product, you do sign up. You've not even experienced the value of the product, and you're asking you to provide your card details or buy a subscription plan. You've not experienced the product, though, but they're telling you to buy. You don't have any reason to buy, but they're telling you to buy. Have you
Yeah,
experienced?
yeah.
Do you want to
When
name and shame in quotes?
do I even remember the name of the app? When I was trying to become a gym Arnold
A gym bro.
Schwarzenegger, I downloaded one app that supposedly would help in showing me what workouts to do and all that. And I hadn't even finished the onboarding, and they presented me with a screen to pay for the yearly subscription.
Hey,
Yeah, and there was no way to close it. You had to close the entire app. Yeah,
wow.
I don't
That
remember
is
I don't remember the name.
that is the darkest of patterns. It's not even a dark pattern, no, it's the darkest of patterns. Wow. Okay, so this thing Derek just described is a typical example of dark patterns. And usually businesses apply that to product experiences to get users to do things that under normal circumstances they wouldn't do. So in that case, the businesses are doing that or applying that concept at the expense of the user. And in my mind, I'm asking myself, why do products do this? Like, why is it a thing? And I think it's a thing because people do buy without getting the value.
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
if it didn't work, it would have stopped at some point. But if
Yes.
it's been there for God knows how long, then it means there are certain people who buy for other reasons without experiencing the core value of the product. I think somebody should do, or we can do a study into that as to why there are certain types of people who would decide to pay for a subscription for a product they've not experienced yet.
Mm.
All right. Okay. So now that we have a good idea of what dark patterns are, businesses getting us to do things we don't want to do for their benefits and not for our benefits, let's go through some of the most common patterns, dark patterns we have come across with certain apps, even local apps, right? So a typical example is the subscription thing. You've not experienced this workout or this gym, and then they are telling you to pay for their yearly subscription. Yeah, oh, not even the monthly one. And then you can't even close it. Well, if they
Unless you
are, like
close
I
the
said, if
entire
they
app.
are still doing it, it means people are paying for it. They
Yeah.
get people doing
w-
it.
With that one, it's also a bit tricky because if I've linked my credit card to my iCloud
Yeah.
to just take one tap and then facial recognition and then I've paid. So
Well, there's
what's
that.
the probability that people are paying just because they've linked their account and it's easy, right? Because
Just
if you
this.
have to go and now pick your credit card, the time that you're going to use to open your wallet, take your credit card, you'll be thinking that, hey, this money I'm trying to spend, it's a lot. Oh. But then But then when your credit card is already linked, you just do one click, double tap on the lock button, scan your face. That's all.
That's it.
You've lost $1,000.
But why do you think they jump straight into a yearly subscription and not monthly? Because the ones I come across, there's at least a monthly, there's quarterly, there's yearly, there's even like a free trial. So for that particular product, why do you think it's straight up yearly?
Perhaps people will not bother to check what the other options are.
Okay.
People, so how often have you entered a sensible reference for your mobile money transaction?
0 times. I don't remember last time I did that. I
Right,
usually do like one
because
or
people want to complete tasks very fast, or they want to complete tasks very quickly.
okay.
So the skippable things they would skip, and I believe to a large extent that it plays into this too, where when they select something by default, a large part of the users would go with that default option.
That brings me to our next dark pattern. If default selections are dark patterns, do you think default selections are dark patterns?
Depends on the context that they are being used in. An example would be when Figma released their AI, there was a toggle that you could turn off to use your work for to train the AI. It's in the settings.
Yeah.
In the beginning, it was on.
So it means when you update your Figma, by default, you are
Yes,
using your designs to train their AI.
yes, and it
Okay.
was hidden because it's in settings. It was hidden, right? But then if you use the default selection in a flow, let's say the user is filling a form, and then you default select male and gender, or you
Yeah.
default select something under a finite list, that's fine because the user will definitely go through that flow. But then if you put it in settings and then the user never opens settings,
It means
you've
they can never toggle it off.
exactly.
And then their
Facebook
business is
does
now
this
getting them to do what they want them to do, which
exactly.
is train their AI.
Yes.
Okay.
And Facebook also does this in their setting. Have you opened Facebook settings recently?
It's
It's a
been ages.
lot. Facebook settings, it's a lot. It's a lot. Like when you're looking for when you're looking for a change to make, the way you struggle. Right. Recently, I've gone to Facebook to private all my posts, like so that when you go on my Facebook, you won't
You
see
don't
any.
see anything.
Yeah.
What are
And
you hiding?
oh no, there are some things I posted. It was I was 14, 15.
I get it.
The settings, the things that I was seeing that were turned on, like I was allowing people to tag me. All those things were on. I was allowing people to pages to mention me. This advertisements, all those, and they know that people would hardly go into those settings to
Yeah.
change them, right? And yeah, so if it's used in that aspect, I believe it's dark party because it's not something I might want to do, but then the company is deciding for me.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Something like the typical example again is the settings. Because if if they allow you to choose the kinds of engagements you want to experience on the app, chances are that Facebook will drop when it comes to certain things. So they want to
Yes.
keep activity going on. So they'll just toggle everything on for you. And again, because it's hidden, you don't really have any settings. It's not like your feed. You don't go there. You
Yeah.
only go there when you need to make a change. And then
Sure.
if it's that's complex, it means what you're looking for, you might get frustrated and just leave and not even change anything at all. So
That's true.
so if you are designing something, so if you are designing something and you want to by default select something for the user, make sure
Mhm.
at least it helps the user and it helps the business, because I know eventually you're designing for the business as well, right? So yeah, just ask yourself, if you were the user and they were doing this to you, would you like it? It's all part of being in the shoes of the user, right? I think we
Yeah.
forget that sometimes. So actually be in the shoes of the user and ask yourself, if I were the user and a company is doing this to me, would I appreciate that? So yeah, that's one of the dark patterns we've discussed. The next one we'll go to is you open an application. Maybe the
Mm.
application is to save your to-do list. And then as soon as you finish sign up or doing the onboarding flow, they're asking for your camera permission, asking for your microphone, asking for location, asking
For a
for
to-do
everything,
list.
for a to-do list, asking for app not to track. I've been seeing that thing, right? Do you think that is not that? Do you think that that is dark party? I believe it is dark party because a to-do list. What do you need my camera for? What do you need my location for? Even if you do require those things, I'm onboarding. Allow me to get into the app.
Yeah.
Allow me to take an action towards or that requires that feature, right? And then another example is you recommend restaurants to a user
Mm-hmm.
depending on their location.
Yeah.
And okay, fine. I think for that instance, it makes sense that when I open the app, because you are using my location to suggest stuff to
Mm-hmm.
me, you would need my location's permission. But I'm looking for a very typical example. Can you help me out here?
I can give you an example, but I don't think you'd want to use it.
Redact the information. Redact the information. I know what you're trying to redact.
Okay, so an example would be when you sign up to social media and then they ask you to link your contacts so that in quotes you can connect to your friends, but then you are just providing them with information on your contacts list.
Yeah,
You're just
yeah.
providing their phone numbers on your contact list. And then now those people will start getting emails and SMSs from social media. So you see people's emails, you go to promotions, you see a lot of emails that they've not even
Yeah, I get
subscribed
a
to.
lot from people from companies or products I've not even
Yeah.
engaged with anywhere.
Somebody has connected their contact list and you're on top.
Yeah. So just so everybody is clear, the reason why we are highlighting these things is for us to be aware of how these things are being applied. And as designers, if people are pushing for us to do these things, we are able to nudge stakeholders that this is not benefiting the user, this is not at the expense, as in this is at
Mm,
the expense of the user, so that we have like grounds, we are well informed
yeah.
to push or put us in the right, align us, to make sure what we are doing is actually in the interest of the user.
Mm,
So the last one we will look at is this thing is I personally experienced. I don't know if people have downloaded the GG application. I have my notifications for most applications off. So one of the things I get bombarded with on so many applications is me allowing them to send me notifications. But Gigi's own is peculiar in the sense that as soon as you open the app, there's a white from the top down is a little fade and then it goes completely white at the bottom. In
mhm,
the middle of the screen is the modal. And then the modal is asking you to give them permission so that they can send you notification. Now, for me, I don't like giving apps my permission to send me notifications. So I usually opt for closing that
mhm.
notification, that modal. Now, Gigi's own is hidden. The first time they threw that modal in my feed, I spent like a minute or two figuring out how to close this thing. In fact, I nearly gave up and I actually allowed them to, or I give them my permission until I found out where the close button was. Remember, I said it was like a fade and then it goes
Yeah,
completely down at the
yeah,
bottom.
yeah.
Where it's at the bottom, it's
Mhm.
white. There's a close icon there and it's also white. So it is hidden.
Mm,
Like I have to be very careful. I have to look very well to see the close button in order to close it. So I think this is very dark because if I give up in the first instance, I'll just allow them. And that's not something I want to do. I don't want to give them permission to send me notifications. And they're deliberately making it super difficult for me
yeah,
to close it. And then out of that frustration, if I didn't take my time to look or spend more time looking, I'd have given in, and then that again like goes against what I actually want to do. So
yeah,
this is one that pattern I have experienced and it really pisses me off. Like
yeah.
it really
There's
gets on my
there's another
nerves.
example of this on websites that have
Mhm.
ads.
Yeah, yeah.
So the one that I saw that was really wicked. The person was evil. So they had two close buttons.
Hey,
Two. They had two
so
close buttons. Yeah. One was bigger than the other, right? And you don't know which one is the actual close button. So when you hit the wrong one, it opens a new ad.
Oh my God, that is deliberate wickedness.
When you click on the wrong one, it opens a new ad. And I'm like, why? Why? What are you looking for on this ad? And there's
Like,
another one
who?
I saw.
Those things are money, right? At that point, it
Yeah,
benefits them. Not that click per ad, what click per whatever, pay per click. I think that's how it benefits them. So,
the other one I saw, it was a football streaming site where there was a button. There were two buttons actually. One had watch now, and the other one was, I think, open. Right. But then none
mm,
of them opened the football match. The CTA that actually opened the football match was a link under, like, it was at the bottom of the screen.
hey,
That's what
very
opened the
deliberate.
football match. Yes. So if you click on the first button, it opens an ad. If you click on the second button, it opens an
Another
ad.
ad.
And even if you click on the play, you see when you're watching a video, there's a play
Yeah,
icon on there.
yeah.
When you click on it, it opens an ad.
This is greed or selfishness, which
What exactly are you looking for? Like, hey, by the time
money
you
because
realize,
then it favors them again. They're doing what they want at the expense of the user.
yeah,
So please be mindful of these things. Like as soon as you see them, study the context in which it's being applied and keep them in your head so that when you're designing, you know there's certain things you're not supposed to do,
yeah,
right? Because it goes
you can
against
use dark
theory.
patterns in your work though,
Hey,
but use
preach
it
on.
wisely. Use it wisely.
If I would
You,
use any of these dark patterns, I would consider using the default selections. Because sometimes they
mm,
make your work easy, right? As in they make the work of the user easy. For instance, you've gone to buy a TV set,
mhm.
and you know when you turn it on, it has pre-selected options.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Some people like me, I won't spend time going to figure out what color, saturation, portrait. I won't spend my time doing that. I'll just
You stick.
turn it on
Yeah.
and then that's it. Like it ends there. I don't have to do any explorations. So in that case, if they hadn't done those default selections, it means I have to now go and read the manual, come and figure, oh no, 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 I don't have that time. So I think if I would go with any of these dark patterns, or I will go with the default selections, but I would, like you said, I would use them wisely, appropriately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one I would use would be creating a sense of urgency, where
Elaborate.
if this might be evil, but it is what it is. If the user is, let's say you have an e-commerce store and the user
Mhm.
comes to your website, you start a countdown timer and say 2 minutes till the price increases to
Hey,
ten
that's
dollars.
wild. That's mean. That's wicked. That's wicked. Increase mom. That means I buy it now. See, now you're
I'll
getting me
see,
to do something I
you
probably
know.
came there not wanting to do. Okay. Yeah, that's
But yeah, every dark pattern can be used in the right sense. That's if it's
yeah.
moderated. If it's used in moderation, you can use it in a, because the, let's for instance, the GG one like this, they
Uh-huh.
can make the close button show
Uh-huh.
after 3 seconds,
Yeah,
so
there's
that
that.
we know that the maximum amount of time the user used to look for the button is 3 seconds.
Uh,
Even though they've made you stay on that screen for long, after
they've
three
given you
seconds
a
they
way out,
exactly,
a clear way
right.
out.
So it doesn't have to be so tricky. It doesn't have to be so dubious, right? You can help the users out a bit. Yeah. YouTube has been doing this thing where they'll show you three different ads. They'll show you one ad, and then by the time you realize the second ad has started, then they hide the skip button.
They hide the skip button. God, these businesses are out for themselves, but I don't blame them because they have to make money, they have to survive, and these are the
Well,
tiny, tiny ways they can get us to do what they want. So, yeah. So, we have a dilemma from one of our listeners, and I'm going to read it. I'm struggling with having good life projects. Most of the work I've done are freelance gigs for clients, and some of them don't end up launching. How do I still show the works in my portfolio as a case study? And let me just begin by saying I've been there before,
yeah,
where you do a lot of designs, do a lot of freelance projects, and they never see the light of day. They are never launched for one reason or another. And because I was coming up, I was thinking those projects are not successful because they didn't get to launch. So then I can't put them in my portfolio. Coming as far as I've come now, I don't think that should have been the case. And if this guy is saying it's like the way I experienced it, a lot of designers out there are experiencing it. Like a lot of designers are out there thinking if the project they've done isn't developed, isn't public, isn't launched, then their design efforts have gone to waste. They can't put it in their portfolio. They can't brag about it. They can't put it anywhere that they did the work because nobody is seeing it. Only them just seeing the work, right? So I think this guy, we have a lot of goodies for him. What do you think? Before I give my take.
Yeah. I think a case study is a study of a case. Why? So a case study is just you showing how you came about a solution
Mm-hmm.
before it even cares about whether the solution is live or not. Right. So a case
Yeah.
study is just showing your process, showing how you came about this, showing why you came about it and all that. And then once you finish all that, then you worry about whether it's live or not. Because yeah, you are showing the designer's perspective.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You are showing
Yeah.
the designer's perspective. You are showing your thought process. All that
Yeah.
don't matter, like it's being live or not, don't matter. Because you can equally use concept projects to
Mm-hmm.
fill your case
Yeah.
study and then get jobs or stuff with it. So even you can sell it in such a way that you highlight the collaboration part, you highlight the stakeholder management, the stakeholder feedback, collaboration with devs and all that, collaboration with the PM. You can sell it like that. The project doesn't have to be live for it
Mm-hmm.
to make impact in your case study, right? So I agree with the sentiments. I say I agree. I understand the sentiment, right? Because when I was also starting out, I didn't even know any developer. I didn't know any, yeah, I didn't know any developer. Right. So the projects in my portfolio were all
Concept
concept projects,
project.
just like, yeah, concept projects. And it still landed me a job some way, somehow. Right. So just find a way to sell it. Well,
Yeah.
we are giving advice. So
Yeah.
find a way to sell it. You collaborated with the dev, you collaborated with the PM, you collaborated with the CEO, right? All of that should count for something.
Yeah.
The what if the design is nice and then the engineer messes up the design?
That one too.
Would
Will you say
would
you're
you
not
be
going?
eager? Will you be eager to share that link?
Yeah. No, no, I wouldn't. Hey,
Right.
I wouldn't. I would
But
share
then
the
it's,
design instead.
so look at it. It's a matter of perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with your thoughts. I don't think you have to have a project live before you put it out there. I also don't think you should have worked on a full-blown project in order
Yeah,
to
yeah,
have it
yeah,
in your
yeah.
case study. Because a lot of the time I see somebody's case study and it's a whole food delivery app, a case study
700
on a
pages.
whole food delivery app. I'm not saying that is possible, but you are missing out on really showing whoever is reading what it took to design that. So
Yeah.
instead of thinking of it in projects, think of it in features, right? Maybe you
Mm.
have a particular feature that you really did well, or you felt that this one you put in your all, so it can get on your case study. It shouldn't be live, right? It shouldn't be live, and then it shouldn't be a full blown project. So don't beat yourself over the fact that a project hasn't been live, a project hasn't been touched by a developer, so you can't show it. Who says you can't show it? Who says you can't show it? One designer recently reached out to me and was telling me how he reached out to a tech recruiter, and
Mhm.
then the tech recruiter asked him to share his design, and he ended up working that tech recruiter through an ongoing design. Like it's not
Mhm.
finished. it's not finished, it's not complete, right? So you get what I'm saying. The project doesn't have to be in a state of completion before you are
Yeah,
able to put it out there or to show it to someone. Right. So I hope this is helpful enough, or this has given you a good sense of direction as to what to do if you find yourself in this situation. This is not only to this person who reached out to us, but this is to all of us, right?
yeah,
Beginner, intermediate, professional. Just
mature.
I hope it helps. Please, I featured your story. This is a testimonial.
In the beginning, I was trying to figure out who is it, and I was like,
I
ah, and I was like,
I was
ah,
looking at your I was looking at your concern. Are you okay?
yeah,
Yeah.
and we,
Yeah.
and then the
Sorry,
water
sorry,
ended.
sorry, sorry. Are you okay?
My phone, it's on DND. It's on DND. Sorry, it's Franklin I'm talking to. So, why are you shy of Franklin? Fafa is shy of you.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure she's shy. It's not me.
She said
Somebody
she's
else
your.
can know.
She said you are her role model. You two you can do mentorship call for Fafa. Fafa,
When you are there.
say you're interested, yeah.
When you are there.
Me, who am I? Fafa doesn't listen to me. Oh. When I tell her to do one, they should do five.
Yes, she's showing you that she can do more. You are limiting her. Why are you
I'm
telling her
limit.
to do one?
I'm
Why are you telling her to do one? When she's doing five, she can do five. I'm not serious.
Franklin, after I'm limiting you. Take tissue for me. Please take tissue for me.
You choke, oh, you choke, oh, you choke. Listen, right after this one, I'm going to sleep. God damn it.
Yeah. So I poured the water on the floor.
And Diablos.
Yeah,
Try.
we were doing kokonsa. No, Franklin was doing kokonsa and I was participating. Thank you. All right. So Mandi,
Yeah, that one's somehow I'm like, okay, so I'll use yeah, me there.
have
I
you
guess
ever wanted to document your life in a way
no,
of a
that's not how I'll start.
documentary?
I start
Have
with
you ever wanted I to analyze you and then say good things about you?
you are not a good seller at all. This is how the ads they were talking, will you be interested? Oh my god.
Have you wanted a way to write about your day and feel okay? Have you
That,
wanted a way like we do this? We do this.
I know what to say, I know what to
You
say.
know, it's okay. All right, cool. So 5, 4, 3, 2.
So I remember when I was applying for a job, right? I had to update my CV. And in updating your CV, you need to put down the things you've done either in your current role or in your past role. And I was found wanting. The last time I had to do that, I was found wanting because I'm now having to think about what did I do last month? What products did I even work on? Or what features did I work on? What were the results? Who did I work with? What did I do? Like we lose track of all of these things because you're not documenting them, right? So today's product spotlight built by Ghanaian is Mandi. I know you have seen your Anawan go on and on about it on his timeline, and I'm just gonna just go through it quickly, right? So this is how I use Mandi. There's a new feature called My Day. My Day basically asks me, or I'm supposed to put in there what I did today. So for instance, if I did some work on Cleave, which I haven't done, assuming I did some work on Cleave, and I was to put it down in Monday, it would just ask me, it would know that I'm putting it there today, or ask me how I felt about that particular thing. And then I can also go ahead to select if it was a freelance, if it was my 9 to 5, if it was another whatever I need, I'm putting it there as right. So I put it there that okay, so today on Cleave, I designed a sign up model which involved email and password. I tested with these people. These are the results. I used that to it's like a diary. Just think of it as a diary where you put in everything about your professional life, right? So this is a diary for your professional life. Now, in the long run, when you want to update your CV, you have a whole repository of things you've worked on. You don't have to sit down and rack your brain and come up with lies on your CV. This time you have actual proof of the things you've done, the way you went about them, who you worked with, the results, and all that. So this helps professionals in that sense. At least for me, this is how I use Mandi. I think you should all try it. Also, you don't have to have a 9 to 5 before you use Mandi. No, 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 no. For your freelance, I even write the fact that I'm recording or I'm hosting a podcast with Derek, and then the things that we talk about, and then looking at the
Hey,
analysis. Oh yeah, I put all there, and at the end of the week, Monday tells me how my week was, and it
you are gossiping.
tells me the things that I should take note of, the things I succeeded in, the things I should pay attention to, so on and so forth. So as a professional, as a creative, I think you should use that to document your works, your day in, day out, your activities. I think that should be your go-to if you want to have a repository, like a repo of the things that you are working on, things you've done. Mandi should be your go-to. So the site is, I'm not so sure of the site. Let me just check. It's Mandi.ai. Yeah, Mandi.ai. You go there, you see their website, and then it gives you a clear understanding of what you can achieve with it, what it helps you to do. Sign up and experience it. It's built by Ghanaians, like strictly Ghanaians. Joel is the founder of Mandi. So if you have any questions, just reach out to the Mandi team or reach out to Joel personally and he'll sort you out. But also, if you have any Ghanaian products that you know of that you want us to spotlight, that you want us to talk about and make it public, just reach out to Derek or myself and we will spotlight you.
All right, guys, thank you for sticking with us to the end. Once again, this is our fifth episode. What do we even call fifth in the anniversary?
I don't think there's anything for golden, no, was
No,
on to golden
this is
anniversary.
copper anniversary. This is copper anniversary. Yeah, but thank you so much for those who have been with us since the pilot episode. First, second case, third case, and all that. We are really happy that we are at this point, and we thank you all for the support, for the liking, for the sharing, people who have been sharing on Instagram, on Snapchat, and all. Thank you so much. Please leave a review if you've enjoyed this episode. Just if you're on Spotify, you can go to our about and leave a review there. If you're on Apple Podcasts, just go to Rate Show. Yeah, thanks for listening. And Franklin, any parting words?
No, just again, thank you so much for sticking with us from pilot episode to case 5. Hasn't been easy,
Yeah.
but we are here. So, and don't forget to leave a review, leave a comment, and then take our poll. Again, that helps us know the kind of impact you're making and then the things to focus on and polish. So, thank you and see ya.